Okay, students, welcome to Corporate Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So, our focus for today is on Unit 2, which involves or it entails what does innovation involve. So, we're going to look at the learning outcomes and what you are required to know in this unit. Okay, so your learning outcomes are as follows. First one, you need to explain the various theories of innovation and explain how theory helps the innovator. We also need to highlight the predominant or the prominent sources of innovation. You need to then depict the steps in the innovation process, provide an overview of intellectual property and licensing. So for Unit 2, these are the learning outcomes that you need to focus on. Right, so if you look at what is corporate innovation, right? So corporate innovation is a strategic method of sourcing and embracing new ideas, which allows a corporation to retain market share over an extended period, right? So the process involves merging new disruptive ideas into existing processes with innovation coming forth both inside the company and from external sources. And corporate innovation can be defined as the process of enterprises implementing new innovation opportunities into existing business models. Right? Corporate innovation, it can also be, or innovation itself can refer to the introduction of a new quality of a good or a new good market, method of production, source of supply, and organization in an industry, etc. So, the most promising thing about the innovation or the innovation process, if you look at it, is being able to actualize an idea into a successful concept, right? So here we look at some of the ways you can be innovative or creative is through inspiration, through vision, through new ideas, brainstorming, mind mapping, imagination, motivation, so creativity. You must be able to be innovative. There's also knowledge as well that's involved, right? So why is corporate innovation important? We know that it's needed to be able to be or come up with new ideas. We know innovation is very important in all corporate settings, but why is it important? Because innovation is often necessary for companies to adapt and overcome the challenges of change. It fosters growth, right? So stagnation can be extremely detrimental to a business. It helps in achieving organizational and economic growth through innovation, which is key to staying afloat in today's highly competitive world. So corporate innovation is very important because, as you can see, it's highlighted here. It helps to overcome the challenges that businesses face as well. It also assists in solving problems. So, say for example, if your business provides services, you might realize that your customers do not have an avenue to share their opinions or maybe their complaints or compliments. So, to solve the problem, you can decide maybe to operate a virtual office where customers' needs can be attended to within a short time. So, the customers will be happy as a result, your sales will go higher. Innovation is also important because it adapts to change. So, change is inevitable, and innovation is the method to not only keep your business afloat but also ensure that it remains relevant and profitable. So, when you decide an innovation culture or develop an innovation culture, you remain relevant at all times. It also assists in maximizing on globalization. So markets all over the world, it becomes more interlinked and greater opportunities are emerging in new markets. So for instance, if your company hopes to tap into this market share, innovation is a must to enable you to capitalize on the opportunities opening up. So there's various ways in which innovation is important. Why is it important as well? It can also help in facing up, with competition. So to sustain or establish your company's cutting edge, you can compete strategically by having a dynamic business that can make strategic and innovative moves and thus cut above the rest, right? Another importance is also evolving workplace dynamics. So the demographics in the workplace are consistently changing, right? Innovation is therefore critical to ensure, that the smooth running of the company is done. So customers changing taste and preferences, it all leads to from the current customer, which has a great variety of products and services available to him. Hence, the company must keep itself abreast of these evolving tastes and also forge new ways of satisfying the customers, right? So we can see that there's various importance of corporate innovation, but the most important one is it helps to overcome challenges that the business is facing, which we need to remember. Now, one of the theories of innovation is diffusion of innovation theory, right? So diffusion of innovation theory is one of the oldest social science theories. It originated in communication to explain how, over time, an idea or product gains momentum and diffuses, meaning spreads through a specific population or social system. So the end result of this diffusion is that people, as part of the social system, adopt a new idea, behavior, or product. Right? So adoption of a new idea, behavior, product, which is innovation, right? Because remember, innovation, it means to develop something new. Does not happen simultaneously in a social system, rather it is a process whereby some people are more apt to adopt the innovation than others, right? So in the diffusion of innovation theory, there are five aspects. So here on the slide, you can see the first three. We have the innovators. Now, these are people who want to be the first to try the innovation. They are venturesome and interested in new ideas. And these people are willing to take risks and are often the first to develop new ideas. Very little, if anything, needs to be done to appeal to this population. Then you also have the early adopters now. These individuals represent opinion leaders, so they enjoy leadership roles and embrace change opportunities. They are already aware of the need to change and so are comfortable adopting new ideas. Then you have early majority. These people are really leaders. They do adapt new ideas before the average person. That said, they typically need to see evidence that the innovation works before they are willing to adopt it, right? So they first need to see evidence before they adopt it, and strategies to appeal to this population include success stories and evidence of the innovation's effectiveness. Then you have the late majority. Now, these people are skeptical of change and will only adopt an innovation after it has been tried by the majority. So, strategies to appeal to this population include information on how many people or how many other people have tried the innovation and have adopted it successfully. And the laggards, well, they are people that are bound by tradition and are very conservative. So, they are very skeptical of change and are the hardest group to bring aboard. And strategies to appeal to this population include statistics, fear appeals, and pressure from people in the other adopter groups. Okay, so the diffusion of theory has five aspects that you need to focus on as well. Then you also have the sources of innovation. Now, sources of innovation, meaning where does innovation come from, right? Where does the company get its sources for innovation? It can be internal and external, right? It can come from, for example, if you say an internal, from employees, through research and development and innovation team, through marketing department, through plant employees. If you say an external, you can say, for example, maybe suppliers, right? Mega suppliers, contract manufacturers, the 3PLs, internal, external suppliers. If you're saying customers, you can refer to retailers, food service organizations, consumers and community. Maybe dedicated online communities, consumer panels, all users or buyers that will share in maybe comments or suggestions of the products or services that they have tried. Strategic partners, you can say from advertising and research agencies, universities and research centers, innovation companies. Right? So these form some of the sources of corporate innovation as well, right? And the last aspect is the steps in the innovation process. So we know that innovation, what it is, why is it important, as well. Some of the, what is the diffusion theory? What are some of the sources of innovation? And if you look in your study guide on your textbook, right, you would see that the sources of, innovation is explained in detail as well, right? But it might be a bit different. There you'll see maybe individuals in your study guide. It has an explanation. It has employees explanation as well. So these slides are just to add or to enhance your understanding of what your study guide is saying, okay? Or maybe say in your study guide, it doesn't have maybe a theory of innovation. So, in this slide or this session, we did cover diffusion theory of innovation, which you can use as well to enhance your understanding of what your study guide is saying. Okay, so please note the study guide or these slides are not to replace anything in your study guide. It's just to help you understand certain concepts that are found in your study guide, or maybe something that's not found there that you might need more understanding on. So the last one is the steps in the innovation process. Here, as you can see, these steps can also be used, right? Apart from the one in your study guide, these steps can also be used. Like, for example, step one, idea generation and mobilization. So what this means is new ideas are created during idea generation. Successful idea generation should involve the pressure to compete and the freedom to explore. Then when we say mobilization, it occurs when the idea is moved, right? Mobilization, mobile means to move to a different logical or physical location. So, for instance, right, how you can say like how Apple waited 3 years after the MP3 players were introduced to create the iPod, which was attractive, intuitive, and offered capacity for up to 1,000 songs. So they moved. That's been mobile, right? Not where you have to, not necessarily it's a physical move. Step two is advocacy and screening, right? So advocacy and screening helps to evaluate the feasibility of a business idea with its potential problems and benefits. So hence a decision can be made about an idea's future. Companies looking to develop a culture can establish a few best practices, okay? So, for example, employees should have plenty of avenues to receive advocacy and feedback. Also, organizations must understand the difficulties involved in evaluating truly innovative ideas. Also, organizations need to build transparent evaluation and screening protocols. Step three is solution or experimentation now. So this stage, it tests the sustainability of ideas for an organization at a specific time. So with the solution or experimentation, it helps to generate new ideas with the information that is gathered on the results and feasibility of the original idea, right? Step four is commercialization. This helps to develop market value for an idea by focusing on its impact. An important part is establishing the specifications of any given idea. So commercialization is a stage that involves the change of focus developments to persuasion. After the idea is clarified and a business plan is developed, it'll be ready for diffusion and implementation. And the last step is diffusion and implementation. Now, this is the company-wide acceptance of an innovative idea, and implementation sets up everything that needs to develop the innovation. So diffusion and implementation allow the organization to determine the next set of needs for customers. So receiving feedback, indicators for success, metrics, and other benchmarks enables the organization to stimulate the innovation process. So that's the steps as well. As you can see, explain to you the 5 steps of the innovation process. If you have any questions, you can post it on the chat box, but that brings us to the end of this lesson.